Hi everyone and welcome. Thank you for taking your time today to join me on this webinar where I'm going to talk about, let's say, modern way of working and how it affects enterprise users interacting with business applications. And what does that mean for the IT? And can we effectively protect them? So stay with me, grab a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable and enjoy the presentation. So the agenda for today, first I'm going to go through the brief introduction where I'm going to talk about what has changed in the last couple of years, how it affects how does this whole hybrid workforce, hybrid infrastructure affect the IT, the infrastructure, how can we protect them? What are the challenges and what approach did Palo Alto Networks take in order to tackle those challenges? And then I'm going to go deeper into the Prisma Access architecture, how it's built up, what it does, what it offers, and how we can use it. ADAM, which is a digital experience module that gives us enhanced visibility, how the users experience when consuming the business application. So it can help us greatly to enhance the experience and really react fast in case of issues. And at the end, also some licensing. What's the basic? What do you need in order to consume the solution? So by now, some of you probably are questioning who am I. So I'm Uroš. I'm a consulting engineer at NIL. I've been in the industry for more than a decade now. I've been working in various fields with various technologies, but always closely related to network security and also data center solutions. I've been working with various security vendors, but I could say that my biggest expertise is Palo Alto Networks Strata portfolio, which is next generation firewalls. About the company, NIL is globally recognized provider of advanced data center, network, cloud, collaboration, and cybersecurity solutions and services. We're proud to hold the highest Diamond Innovator partner status with Palo Alto Networks. We have headquarters in Slovenia, in capital Ljubljana, but we also have offices around the world. And we have joined the Conscia family 4 years ago. So we're now part of the one of the leading European specialists in networking, hybrid cloud, and cybersecurity. About Conscia, it was founded in 2003 and today has more than 1,000 employees serving some of the largest organizations within financial services, healthcare, and public sector, from offices in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Germany, Netherlands, and Slovenia. Conscia aims to be the best place to work in Europe for talented IT infrastructure specialists with deep technical expertise. We also have really tightly integrated network of knowledge, which we quite often share amongst our peers within different countries. But without further ado, let's get into the topic, which I believe you all came here for today. So what has changed? What we saw in the last couple of years, especially in the last 2 years, is that work is no longer a location, but rather an activity. So a few years or further back, if somebody says that he's going to work tomorrow, we would probably first thing on our mind would come that, okay, he's going to commute to the office and work from there probably. But now this has changed because nowadays we don't need to go someplace in order to perform our duties or activities. We can just work because we are now able to perform our activities wherever and whenever we need to. And what enabled this shift are two major things. So on one side, we have applications which are now basically scattered all around. what I mean with that is vast majority of organizations nowadays already have adopted some form of hybrid infrastructure. Either this is some private cloud or public cloud or some SaaS application, usually reachable over the internet. Especially with SaaS applications in last years, we saw explosion of different kind. One of which we are currently using. We are currently using for this webinar. So this has changed the app delivery model, let's say. And on the other side, we also have users connecting from everywhere. Again, majority of organizations which they have adopted some form of remote work. Especially the big driver, obviously, was the pandemic 2 years ago, which made organizations adopt either some partial remote work, where they still motivate employees to come to work in the office several days a week and others remotely, or they have fully adopted remote work so that they don't even have any offices anymore, or something in between. Obviously, this brings a lot of flexibility for users. Some would argue that there is some impact on productivity. However, I believe it tends to stay. From my opinion, especially with fast development and adoption of AI and robotics, where lots of labor work will probably be automated, there will be more and more need for office work, which in base is enabler for remote work as well. But what does that mean for the IT? Well, definitely the attack surface has exploded because we have users connecting from different networks. So they're not connecting anymore just from our enterprise networks where we had a very good control over security and everything, but they are connecting from different networks, from home, from coffee shops, from the beach, wherever. And also they're connecting to the applications which can be hosted either in our enterprise environment or somewhere in the cloud, where again we don't have much visibility and control over that infrastructure. So consequentially, that caused emergence of many security point solutions, which offered some security protection controls for specific scenarios, either for specific SaaS applications, for specific cloud environments, for some remote access, CASB solutions, and so on. But then what happened is that organizations end up with so many tools to manage and to control. And in that sense, it's really hard to get some common ground, common denominator in order to keep the security consistent across different locations and different environments. For that reason, lately we saw emergence of so-called ZTNA solutions, Zero Trust Network Access solutions, which are tackling this problem. But why does the legacy network architecture no longer provide or work in today's cloud-enabled or hybrid world? So first of all, it's rigid in scalability, so it's unable to scale. It's harder to scale. We know that in enterprise environments, we usually have hardware appliances. In order to scale them, we need to replace them. And in order to replace, for example, a firewall, we know that this takes planning, procurement, and it takes time. It's not very straightforward. And then, of course, we also then end up with security gaps, because then we have inconsistent security policy. So we have a really strict and well-established security policy for users within the enterprise environment, but usually end up with different security controls and solutions for remote users or for SaaS applications. Usually, we would try to solve this issue with backhauling user traffic back to the data center or headquarters in order to keep the security posture of security policy consistent. But that also introduces some additional delay, latency, which can all degrade the user experience when consuming those business applications. So what does Palo Alto Networks offer here, or what they did with their Prisma SASE offering, is that they build a solution in the cloud, which they offer as a service. And their SASE platform contains three major areas. So one is security as a service, which in effect is Prisma Access, which I'm gonna talk about today. Then we have network service, network as a service, which is in effect their Prisma SD-WAN, cloud SD-WAN solution, which provides the overlay WAN connectivity in fabric formation. So it provides reliable, robust, well-monitored load balancing on layer 7 and so on SD-WAN solution. And also very important, the experience module, so digital experience module, which provides the very important feedback to the IT about how the users perceive, how the user experience when they access those business applications. And this autonomous digital experience management covers both the mobile users and remote networks. So yeah, those covers. And on the right side, you can also see that Gartner recognized Palo Alto Networks in this year's SASE Gartner report as in leader quadrant. So Prisma Access, what does it offer? So basically, in a very high level, we have two layers which we can use as a service. So underlay, we have a network layer, which basically provides us the access to the service so that we can tap into it. So it provides various ways how we can connect, how we can access. Either this is connecting remote branches, leveraging Prisma SD-WAN, or any other SD-WAN solution or generic SD-WAN solution. We can also connect mobile users by using client IPsec or SSL VPN. We can also use clean pipe to the cloud or clientless VPN as well. So it provides a robust and reliable way of accessing the service, where on the top we get all the security as a service. So basically we get all the enterprise next generation firewall features. So what Palo Alto Networks did here is they took their industry leading enterprise next generation firewall and they deployed it in the cloud in fabric formation, fully scalable and fully automated. So we don't have to worry about that. It's all maintained by Palo Alto Networks, and it's all automated. And it provides all the next generation features which we use today in order to protect and secure our enterprise networks. Features as SSL decryption, user ID, app ID, threat prevention, wildfire, advanced protection mechanisms which are machine learning powered, and so on, data loss prevention, URL filtering. It also provides some additional cloud specific protections and integrations with Cortex XDR, Prisma SASE, and so on. And very important also, it's all managed by one unified management console. So you can keep your consistent security across the whole cloud, whole area. So what does that mean for remote workers and branch offices? So what Prisma Access here offers us is to adopt in a reliable and simplified way, the ZTNA model, so Zero Trust Network Access, which is least privilege access. Because Prisma Access will offer continuous trust verification, so we will have user identification known across all Prisma Access cloud infrastructure. We will have device compliance capability, and also we are able to control on an application level which applications are allowed and which can be consumed. And once the application access is allowed, it doesn't stop there. It then starts with the continuous security inspection, where it will check for any malicious files if they are being transferred, or is there any vulnerability trying to be used, or are there malicious URLs, malicious DNS queries, and so on, or DLP. So it offers us that we can protect our remote users and workers and give them a secure way to access the applications, either they are in the cloud or in on-premise in our data center, as well as internet and all the rest. Okay, so that's about the introduction. Now let's get into the architecture. So what Prisma Access offers and how it's built up. So first of all, how we can access the cloud. So it offers two ways of connecting mobile users. So the first one is Global Protect Agent, which is a VPN client, which has been used for several years and on our enterprise firewalls. But we can also use the explicit proxy. So that's mainly intended for organizations which today are, let's say, already using the web proxy for protecting their user web traffic, so that they can easily transition to Prisma Access. So by just changing the web proxy pack files and redirecting the user traffic, and then by that they can start consuming all the advanced next-generation security features which Prisma Access offers. However, it's still encouraged that this should be used only for the transitioning, because the end goal should be Global Protect Agent, because it offers more functionalities, and also it protects. It can offer protection for all the traffic, not just the web traffic. And then the last one is the remote networks. So we can connect our remote branches or kiosks and so on, and provide them secure way of accessing to the internet or public application or private applications. We just need to establish the site-to-site IPsec VPN, and basically that's it. So the high-level architecture of Prisma Access is that there are Palo Alto next-generation firewalls deployed in the cloud. We have several different types of security processing nodes, or SPNs they call them, which provide access for mobile users on branch offices, and they provide all the security features, policy enforcement, and provide internet access and public SaaS application access, as well as access to our private data centers. And all the logs from the different components in the cloud are gathered on central location in Cortex Data Lake, so that we have a complete visibility over all different locations. And the solution is made so it scales automatically. So if we have some big group of some conferences, so that there is a big group of people, employees connecting from one location, the solution will adapt to that and spin up additional nodes if required. As in regards to access locations, So Palo Alto Networks here uses two of the major cloud providers. So primarily they use Google's GCP and also Amazon's AWS. Google primarily because it provides high capacity backbone and very many points of presence around the world. So, and that's important because it offers, for example, here in Europe, in every country, there is a point of presence, or even many, even more than one. So that your users, remote workers, that they always connect to their closest location, so that there is a least possible impact on the delay and latency and consequential user experience. And there are also many points of presence in compute locations around the world. They have more. I think there's more than 110 now, and still counting, still rising. So basically, you can deploy your nodes in different locations, and Global Protect agent will take care that the users always connect to the closest one. As for the unified management, there are two different types of management which we can use. So one approach is using Panorama, which is Palo Alto Networks central management system, which is used today for managing enterprise next-generation firewalls. And we can leverage that and just integrate it with Prisma Access, and then we can use all the existing security policy, all existing object security profiles, which we use today to secure enterprise users also, and we can extend it into the cloud so that we can really keep the consistency regardless of the location where they are connecting to. So this is perfect. This is the go-to approach for organizations which they are already using Palo Alto firewalls. However, if they are not, if they don't want to deploy Panorama on-premise or in the cloud, they can also use the cloud-based management, which offers the same, all the full-blown security features as Panorama does. It just comes in different form. There is no need. It's maintained by Palo Alto Networks, and it's deployed in the cloud. It's slightly different interface, but it offers all the security features and also visibility into the traffic as Panorama does. Okay, so for the mobile users, so they connect to so-called security processing node, which is Palo Alto next-generation firewall, and it offers to connect, as I already mentioned, or either using Global Protect agent, explicit proxy, but we can also connect unmanaged users. So we can also connect either using third-party VPN clients, as long as they support IPsec tunneling, or we can also use the clientless VPN. So if we want to, for example, just expose a portal where, I don't know, external partners can safely authenticate and then access some internal application, for example. And with that, we can provide the remote users with secure access to the internet, public applications, as well as our internal enterprise networks and applications in our data center or in public cloud or private cloud. So what does Global Protect offer as a connection options, or how to activate the connections? So either we put all the options to the users, to the end users, so that they have to manually control either the Global Protect is activated and the tunnel is established, or we can use always on, any form of always on options, where the Global Protect agent will take care that the service is always active, so that the IPsec or SSL tunnel is always established. So either when user logs in to the device, it will automatically establish tunnel, or we can also use the pre-log on option, where the device Even if there is no user logged in, the device will still establish the tunnel using machine certificates, so that it still can provide access to the corporate policy, to the updating, I don't know, GPO updates or software updates, patching, and so on, even if the device is idling. Or we can also use the combination of the both. What it also offers is the device compliancy check. So we can really build a granular policy by checking different compliances on the device. So, for example, if anti-malware software is installed, if it's patched, or if the OS is updated with latest patches, if the firewall is running, we can also do some registry queries or file checks. What is also very important here is that this compliancy check we don't just use it in order to either provide user with the access or not to establish the VPN tunnel, but we can use the results of those policies in the security rules, which means, for example, if we want to provide access to some, let's say, really highly confidential, highly sensitive data or application in our enterprise networks, we can say, okay, we allow this only to this certain group of users and allow them only access from really highly strict compliance devices, so managed and highly high compliance devices. But on the other sense, we can let's say we allow the same group of users or other users access to some more general applications or internet browsing from less with the looser compliance strict devices. So we can do this on a very granular level. And also it provides various forms of authenticating users, getting the user identity. It provides the different authentication protocols like SAML, which is usually mostly used today, I would say, and also LDAP, Radius, Active Directory integration. It integrates with all the MFA providers as well, and also we can combine different authentication protocols in authentication sequence. So we can say, okay, first try, I don't know, SAML. If it doesn't work or if it's rejected, then go to Radius and so on. So it's very flexible in that sense. Okay, next one, remote networks. So remote network security processing node provides access for the remote branch offices or kiosks or name it. The only requirement is that we have some network device which is capable of establishing standardized IPsec site-to-site tunnels. So this can be either a router or firewall, or it can be also a Palo Alto firewall. It doesn't matter. And with that, we can provide the secure internet access for all the users and devices in remote branches, as well as access to our internal data center applications or in public cloud applications. We can usually you would use it in two different occasions. So you can use the service only to provide the secure internet access and secure access to the public applications, so that only internet traffic is steered through the Prisma Access, and you leverage your existing WAN or your existing private links to steer the traffic to your on-prem data center. Or you can completely replace the WAN and steer everything through the Prisma Access. It also provides the redundancy. So if we have several internet service providers on the branch, you can establish several tunnels, and then the routing will take care of redundancy. And the last part is a service connection. So service connection corporate access node provides access for our data centers. So this node doesn't provide any security features and doesn't provide internet access, because in the data center you will always have your local internet access and your local firewalls because of the segmentation and everything. So this node only provides access for the remote users and remote branches to your internal data center. It provides you can establish redundant tunnels, so several tunnels, and it offers dynamic routing, namely PGP peering, which comes really handy if we have several data centers across different regions, so that the network is distributed automatically. It offers as for the network design and connection, it offers all different architectures. So the Prisma Access will be always a single autonomous system, but it can pair with your on-prem data centers. Either they are all in the same autonomous system or different autonomous systems. So it's all supported. There are two distinctive routing modes which we can use in order to affect how the traffic, remote user and mobile and network traffic is being directed towards your on-prem data centers. So we have default routing mode, where Prisma Access will honor any BGP attributes sent from the customer premises CP devices. So basically here you have a complete control how you want to steer the traffic from and to the Prisma Access cloud. Usually you would want to use this mode if you want to leverage the Prisma Access cloud backbone. So for example, if we have some remote mobile user who wants to access the application which is deployed in the remote data center, let's say that this is the geographically remote data center. In this case, the user traffic will stay within the Prisma Access as long as possible and egress the service connection directly connected to that remote data center. So in this case, basically, we are sending traffic through the high-speed cloud backbone. However, there is also an alternative approach, which is called so-called hot potato routing mode. In this mode, Prisma Access will hand off mobile users and remote networks traffic to the closest service connection, which is the closest data center to that user. So in this case, what Prisma Access Fabric does is that they send the traffic to the closest service connection. So you would want to use this approach if you want to leverage your own data center interconnect backbone. So in this case, the remote mobile user traffic will egress the Prisma Access to the closest data center, and then it has to go through your own links to the remote data center. And Prisma Access will also honor the it will also take care that the remote return path is honored as well. So there are those two distinct routing modes. Okay, so that was about Prisma Access architecture and how we can tap into it in order to consume all the next generation security features. The next one is ADAM, or so-called Autonomous Digital Experience Management. So what is this trying to solve? So as I already mentioned, what we see today is that applications are being distributed across different infrastructures. So we don't have applications anymore running only in our data center, where we have very good visibility and control and we can quickly react if there are any issues. It's much faster to discover them. However, we have many applications which are deployed somewhere in the public cloud or some other private cloud environment, where this ownership boundary of underlying infrastructure is different, so we don't have any visibility into it. And then on the other side, we also have users which are connecting again from different networks, from again different infrastructure we don't have any visibility into. Either they are working from home or some kiosk and so on. So again, we don't have any visibility. And also with the SD-WAN adoption, the remote branches organizations usually are leveraging internet links only, because the private links, which usually will use to interconnect branches, are more expensive. They do, however, provide some SLAs, which internet links usually don't. So we have best effort traffic. So in that case, again, we don't have any visibility into the ISP if there are some issues which arise. And this can be really challenging for the IT support when they get some complaints from remote users that they have problems accessing some business applications, for example. I can tell you from my own experience that it's a tedious work, because it's hard to identify the root cause, because you have so many blind spots where you cannot see. And what usually happens is that the issue resolved by itself. Either, I don't know, the Wi-Fi signal is better, or computer it's not utilized that much anymore, or something like that. And then you end up with the unsatisfied user, and you also end up with a frustrating engineer, because we didn't get to the root cause, in order to prevent this issue next time. So having a tool which uncovers, unveils all the many blind spots on the path between the user and application, can be considerably beneficial, so that we can see what's going on the end user device, what's the signal quality, what's the network quality on the device, what's the health of the router which is their gateway they're connecting through, what's going on through the ISP, or what's going on the application. Either it's in the cloud or in your private data center. So if the issue arises, this tool can help you to quickly and effectively discover, identify where the issue is. So either this is that user's device is running out of memory because there are too many Chrome tabs opened, let's say, or it's running out of CPU cycles, or user is working too far away from the access point and the Wi-Fi signal is not strong, or maybe the consumer router, maybe employee working from home just recently attached some network storage device to the same router, and it's not capable to process all the traffic anymore, and it's providing the bottleneck. Or maybe there are some hops throughout the ISP which we can see that there are some anomalies, or maybe something in the cloud. So how is this provided to? So on one side, we have a Global Protect agent, which will provide the a lot of telemetry data from the device itself. So it will monitor device resources like CPU, memory, and so on, and it will also measure the link quality, the signal quality of the Wi-Fi, and so on. And then we also have the real user traffic monitoring on all the nodes within the Prisma Access cloud. And on the other side, we also have a synthetic monitoring capabilities, which means that we can have probes on different paths, on different locations on the path between the user and the application. So if we go from the bottom up, the GlobalProtect agent will probe the default router and provide the information about latency, jitter, and so on. It will also probe the underlying network and path. Again, it will provide the network information, jitter, latency, and so on from different hops in between the user and the Prisma Access entry node. And then it will also probe the overlay network, so through the VPN and to probe the Prisma Access infrastructure, let's say. And then we also have end-to-end tests. So we can define applications which we want, which usually are important business applications that we want to be probed from the user. So the GlobalProtect agent, again, it will try HTTP tests, the TCP tests, traceroute, and so many different tests which provide rich information. And beside that, we also have probes in Prisma Access Cloud. So it will also probe the connectivity from there so that we can quickly distinguish which part of the connection might be causing problems. And this application which we are probing can either be application in the public cloud or it can be a private application in our data center. It's all supported. So what Autonomous Digital Experience Monitor Management offers us is that we gain visibility in blind spots, which we currently don't have. It provides us with information so that we can quickly react in case of problems, and we can also react proactively. So if we see that there are some general degradation of some service, some application, we can proactively react to it. And also the agent itself, it will try to notify users if it detects that there are any issues in their in their localized issues, let's say, on the user device. So either the resource issue or signal issue and so on. So it will present the user with notification that here is one example when the Zoom was not working very well. The GlobalProtect agent identified that the Wi-Fi connection was poor, and it advised the user to get closer. So it proactively tried to advise the user so that they can maybe remediate the issue by themselves. So, and in that sense, save maybe some support calls. Yeah. Okay, so we have one question. Is it possible to use Prisma to improve security and visibility for our incoming SSL connections to servers deployed in various public cloud tenants? Well, good question. So definitely we can. So you can also, if you have your infrastructure deployed in public cloud tenant, you can also deploy some network device which just needs to establish SSL site-to-site VPN IPsec to the Prisma Access, and then you can provide the remote users to that environment. I hope this answered your question. Okay, going forward, the last part, so the licensing. It's really straightforward. So what are the requirements? So if you want to leverage Panorama to manage the solution, you obviously need to license Panorama, and you need to install the so-called Prisma Access Cloud Services plugin, which is just a plugin installed in Panorama, and then which is used to integrate with the cloud solution. But if you don't want to use Panorama, then you don't need any additional licenses. You can just use the cloud-based management interface. You do, however, need the Cortex Data Lake license. So you need, which is the per terabyte license, because you want to receive all the logs in one location. And for example, if you're using Panorama, Panorama can also tap into the Cortex Data Lake logs. So basically, it will pull those logs into Panorama, and then you can have a global visibility across either your on-prem devices or Prisma Access. You need the premium support line for all those features, and then you can enable those additional services which you want to consume. So either these are remote networks where you need license per megabyte, or mobile users, which is licensed per user. There are several different tiers of licenses. So we have two different business tiers, business premium, which are mainly intended to be used to provide secure internet access for remote users or remote branches. Difference between them is just how many security features they offer. So business premium is full-blown features, and business is without sandboxing and some additional security features. And then we have an enterprise tier, which is a full-blown feature, and it offers also connectivity to our on-prem data centers. So it depends which location edition you choose. So you have local or worldwide. With local, you get 2 service connections. And you can choose up to 5 locations where you want to deploy your security processing nodes around the world, or you can choose worldwide, where you have you can deploy it wherever you want in the world, and you get 5 service connections. And over the top, you can also enable add-on licenses, one of which is also this autonomous digital experience management. But there are also some additional security features like enterprise DLP, cloud provider DLP, some additional SaaS security mechanism to provide some additional reporting and so on. So yeah, it can be all enabled on the top. Okay, so this concludes my presentation. So yeah, let's open the stage for the Q&A, if there are any additional questions, maybe. So if there are no other questions, if you need more information, you want to learn more about it, please don't hesitate to get in touch, either directly with me or with your local Conscia representative office. If you want, we would gladly provide you, if you want to test the solution, we would gladly provide you the licenses and all the required stuff to test or to do the POC. So yeah, we will also help you with the tests so that the POC is successful. Okay, with that being said, I will wrap up for today and conclude this webinar. So thank you again for your participations, and have a great day and week ahead. Bye.